rally.co.za.
We're in Lichtenburg for the first round of the South African Off-Road Championships for 1999.
It's basically the same as we had last year. We had rain the day before, the same as we had last night. The only difference now, the Mealies has grown taller than it was last year. So the driving will be excellent. The conditions are, you can't go for better, ask for better.
In the motorcycle classes, the team to beat is the AGA Panasonic Castrol KTM team led by Granada, Dakar hero and many times South African champion Alfie Cox.
You know, we had quite a serious championship last year. It was well fought, you know, it's KTM versus Honda versus Kawasaki, and I think it's going to be the same this year, you know, and we just have to do our best, and hopefully we can keep it going and win the championship again.
Well, I got mixed feelings. I'm looking forward to the race. I did well in it last year. And the only thing is I'm drawn first for tomorrow, and it's always a difficult situation to start in because you got all the guys catching you from behind, and you start off on time intervals, and if somebody makes up time on you, you don't know until the finish.
Last year we went to Dubai. We raced in Dubai went for it's like a 4-day race, and I started 76th, then I ended up 10th overall. So I was pretty happy for my first time, so it was all right.
Sorrel Falameva is back in competition in the mighty Sassel Sobe Jeep Cherokee. He shares with Arthur Abrams and Richard Leake.
It's got a very sophisticated suspension. We've got a bit of problems with the management system at this point in time, which we can't quite get sorted out, but so the performance isn't really what it should be. But what we're really hoping for is the rougher the better, because I think suspension-wise we're probably about the best in the field.
And Arthur Abrams is going to take the first stint over 230 kilometres.
Our vehicle is built on a Land Rover chassis, and we're using M3 engine and gearbox. Land Rover, the rest of the driveline, and I think that's about it. It's probably one of the most competitive of the production vehicles at the moment.
That must be the lightest. It's got a fiberglass body and the hottest Land Rover in the world. It's got an M3 motor, and putting in the finishing touches, the gearbox is being refitted into the chassis after a bit of clutch trouble. A Land Rover man to his very roots is Tony Yo and his wife Mandy. And who does he see as competition?
The Pajero boys. Yeah, they got good cars. They got some excellent products out there now. You know, with the Pajeros, the Toyotas, the new Toyotas, and of course Land Rover itself. Land Rover is just there to. I mean, we've got some brilliant motor cars out there, and Pajero is obviously the one that's going to be the one to go for.
Beautiful sunset on Friday night as the vehicles are put into impound after scrutineering and documentation for the early start the next morning. 169 vehicles are entered in total, and one of the favourites straight from Dakar is Neil Woolridge.
We're very excited because of the new rules, and obviously we're excited because we've got a Granada Dakar car here. It only arrived on Wednesday night, so we haven't had much time to prepare it. But we hope we've made the right decision. It's just so much better than the old car. We got it off the docks on Wednesday night. We had a look over it, basically gave it a wash on Thursday and brought it out to the race. So we're very excited for the season. The new rules seem to have brought a lot of new competitors and a lot of new production vehicles, which is great for the sport. I think it's going to be a very exciting year.
Well, it's been a long layoff. With the roof cancelled, it's been a long time to everybody prepare cars, although we didn't really have to prepare much. There wasn't much wrong after our last race. But you know, last year we had a major problem when we had that big accident and he lost the hand, and we lost 2 races due to that, so we only ended up third in the championship. But this year maybe we'll have a bit of better luck and be able to take in all the races, and hopefully we'll do well in the championship, and hopefully we'll start off with a good run this particular race.
It's just before 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's going to be hot today. That's the forecast. We're at the Lichtenburg Showgrounds as the start of the South African off-road season is about to get underway. And first away in the CG Krobler Group Lichtenburg 400, special vehicle class A, last year's champion Greg Harvey and Boy Stone in the Castrol Jimco. It's a brand new motor car. This is their first outing, and it's got lots of ground clearance and sounds very crisp.
Well, we've got a brand new car, so we're very nervous on the car. We've tested it for maybe about 30 kilometers. It's a good car, so we're very nervous and just hope that the reliability will last for the race.
Here's the mighty Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser, championship winner last year, RP Reinicke, and this year running with Yokohama tyres.
We've just changed tyres from Firestone to Yokohamas now, and a little thing here and a little thing there, but virtually it's the same vehicle as last year.
The very successful father and son combination, the Chepiks, in the Edson V Motors Racecoats number A3, and it sounds very crisp as it gets away there.
I feel pretty confident about this year. We just got to keep it all together and put in hard work. It's going to be a tough race today. We'll see what happens.
He was the Class B champion last year in the four-cylinder class, 15 racing in Class B. Next up, Tony Yo and his wife Mandy in that very hot Sabat Land Rover. They're running on Continental tyres. And of course this is permanent four-wheel drive, the Land Rover. They'll get lots of grip around this very, very tough course. Andrew and Chris Birkin, new Castrol Toyota Hilux. It's a new shape one. Castrol and Toyota have certainly put a big effort into this event. There's 11 vehicles in Class E. And the famous Pajero from Dakar, the Repro-Gel Mitsubishi of Neil Woolridge and Paul Vermaak is on its way. That's in the class up to 5 litres. D8, the Castrol Toyota of Cassie Kutsi, that's a legend in off-road racing, and Piet Swanepoel. A52 Stanley Illman and Franz Stangl have got to be a Porsche engine in the back of the one. They're Porsche meant to their very core as they get away. These are capable vehicles, all developed in this part of the world. Now they're coming thick and fast. Here's Arthur Abrams and Richard Leake in the Jeep Cherokee, and they're hardly out of the showgrounds and they're into some very tough going. This is just to clear their minds. Here's Newton Love and Colin Poten, that quick fit race car, very capable. Look at the number of shocks on each wheel. 3 shocks in the back. Navigation in this part of the country is pretty easy. It's well marked here with day glow markers, and this is how tough it is. Jannie Visser and Jan is best in that Toyota 4x4. This is only the start of the loop. They've got 230 k's to go on the one loop, and then they're going to repeat it this afternoon. So it is tough. You work very hard, and the navigator looking at his notes, hoping he's going to get out of that one very quickly. Nice bunch of spectators out here to watch the action. After that difficult stage, just to get their minds in gear and warmed up, some of the competitors are already into the mealie fields on their way towards Zeerast and the Marika River crossings. Here's Niels Eriksson and Johnny Walker in their special. It's a driver and a navigator. These vehicles have been proved over many years in tough events like this Lichtenburg 400 and others held in the hotbed of off-road racing here out in the western part of the country. Passing, of course, becomes a problem here. You've got to select your place and then get past very rapidly. Here comes that hot Rob Green Racing Land Rover. Cliffy Barkin now got the gearbox fit. He's moved up through the ranks and he's been followed there by Cassie Kutsi and Piet Swanepoel on the Yokohama shod Castrol Toyota. All on his own. He's got to do his own navigating like a motorcycle. It's very, very quick. There's Tom Smith in the Pomona Porsche. That's in the 4-cylinder single-seater class. One of the popular Mitsubishi, sponsored there by Alf, is Noel and Haley Quinn. Looking very relaxed and pretty standard looking, well turned out vehicle, that one. And the big Chevy, this is a spectacular car. Bert Krief and Carl Duplessis. Just listen to that motor, it sounds lovely. Got sheer grunt, just to blast its way through this veld, through rivers, over rocks, anything you like. The day is getting very hot as we go down to the Marika River, the diggings, and they really blast through. This is hard on the vehicles, this one. Of course, the driver's very hot there. Happy just to have a bit of cool water coming their way. Bevan Berthold, he comes through down that Jack's Payton Hardware single-seater, former saloon car racing, going very well in that single-seater. Greg Harvey and Boystone in the Castrol sponsored machine comes through. He's already been caught up by some of the others. And here's the Birkins in the Toyota Hilux. A week ago, that vehicle was just a shell. Richard Carroll, the lubrications equipment single-seater, they are the mainstay of this form of racing, coming across there. Lovely pictures and angry sounding Gerrit Kampfer and Vic Kampfer in the Toyota. Not your average Toyota, this one. Certainly a mighty machine, that one. Here's the Yo's, Mandy and Tony. She's navigating. The husband, he really does fly along there and putting those Continental tires to the absolute test. Champion Richard Schilling takes it easy down here. He's very experienced in that motor take. Racecoat comes through there with Ashley Thorne, a South African champion of former years. And a man in a hurry, Tom Smith in the Pomona Porsche. There he is, all on his own there, tucked in that vehicle. And lovely just to get a little bit cool there, because it's becoming a very, very hot day, as we'd say. So they keep coming. It's hard on the vehicles, this. Water getting into the electrics. It's a good testing ground for any production vehicle, as you see here. There's 59 vehicles in all, very well turned out, but this is hard on suspension. suspension, and certainly on the wheels. Jannie Visser and Johan Best is second in Class E of the production vehicles. They followed by Johansson and Wolven in the BP Orca. But back at the start, 45 minutes behind the four-wheelers, more four-wheelers, and this time it's the quads.
I'm very nervous because there's more Banshees than ever. And there's a lot of fast guys that came in that weren't doing nationals last year. And I'm very, very nervous.
What is the quad legend from Lichtenburg, Vickers van Deventer, got to say?
Ek ry my Dakar fiets, die fiets is oor die 10 amper 12,000 kilos agter die blad. So die fiets is redelik oud, maar dis nie 'n verskoning vir my nie. Ek hoop om my borge uit te sorteer vir 'n nuwe fiets. En dan sal ek Baber span as ek hopelik reg en dan sal ek die manne gas gee.
And that's one of the legends of the world on a quad. Castrol Jojo Tank Yamaha. Vickers sets off in a hurry. See, throttle, they use the right thumb to work the throttle. They don't have a twist grip. 25 of these vehicles have been entered in this open class. They're basically all Yamaha Banshees, very, very hot, full-blown racing twins, up to 350 cc's. And in the K-Class 200cc, 8 entries is Leon van Heerden, FMF Racing. There's Ivan Allywood and Rory Halleballam as they all get away. And the open quads, here's the big competition for Vickers van Deventer, who's on his home ground from Joburg Yamaha, and that's John Craig Castella, having his first ride now in the open class. Right, see off-road cycles, Cornell de Villiers gets through, and they're really, really quick. Now you see some quick vehicles coming through as Vickers just pours it on. And those rocks are going to be hard on those tyres and on that suspension. We're once again at the diggings there, crossing the Marika River. As they all pull through, you've got to be fit. You sit down, you stand up, you pull yourself up. Difficult machines to ride, and look at those rocks. If you fall off on that or turns over you, it's going to be in serious trouble. Some very talented riders we got here. Brandon Martin on the Yamaha comes through. Big knobbly tyres, there's lots of ground clearance, very sophisticated. They look nervous machines, but these guys go along at 160, 180 k's on these. They go along like the wind and just wheelie their way out of those diggings and those huge rocks. The exclusive racing team Dave Parkinson in a hurry as well. This is just the start of this event. We've hardly gone 40 k's, and really it's very, very hard on the bodies. Leon van Heerden, the FMF Racing team. Here he comes now, battling a little bit as he comes out of the river and up through these diggings here. You can see a lot of slate, and those tyres are getting chopped to pieces there, and they don't carry spares on them at all. Then we've got Derek Allens coming up the road. He's lying second in the class behind Cornell de Villiers, who's leading at the moment. And not too far behind him, he's got Willem Jacobs on 103. He'll be along shortly, so the pressure is certainly on these riders. Here comes one of the Hondas, the red Hondas, of course, the fire engine red. That's Fani de Jong. He's on his Honda. Nicely turned out. He's got covers over his front shocks as well. Just takes it easy over the section before they get onto the faster section where they can really wind these open. There's William Jacobs now. Back then you've got a stand, almost like a trials bike as you come through there. And while all this is happening, back at the showgrounds, it's just coming up for 8:30 in the morning. The motorcycles are ready to go. 29 250s. There's